What's up and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO, welcome to the channel and welcome to another group preview, the final group stage preview for the World Cup fantasy football game as we look at Group H. But before we do that, hopefully if this is released on Saturday, just to let you know, we will be going live on the channel at around 8:30 PM English time. So make sure to join the stream where we will be talking about players that have done well in friendlies leading into the World Cup and hopefully answering your questions as well. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be told when we go live, and we'll get our fantasy football teams for the World Cup ready in time for Thursday. With that being said, we are looking at the final group of the tournament and we are looking at Group H, which has Senegal, Colombia, Poland and Japan. Now this to me looks like one of the most competitive groups, with potentially any one of these teams getting first and second. However, I do have my favourites and we will look at that as we discuss each team. The team we are starting off with is Poland, who of course qualified from European qualification with a record of 8 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat, scoring 28 goals, which is a great return, conceding 14 and getting 2 clean sheets in the process. So defensively they don't look that solid, but as an attacking force with a certain player leading the line, they look very, very dangerous. In fact, they have a player who scored the most amount of goals in qualifying, even more than Cristiano Ronaldo, and that is of course Robert Lewandowski. However, that of course means he's clearly the man to mark for the opposition. So of course you could get a scenario where he does amazingly in the World Cup, or you could get a scenario where every single team Poland play try to mark him out of the game. And with other players in the squad like Milik and capable goalkeepers like Szczesny and Fabianski, and then we've got the likes of Zielinski, who also plays in the Calcio A, they do have a decent side that could do well in this tournament. However, it does need to be remembered they did concede 14 goals, so defensively they conceded at least 1 a game, so potentially we don't want to be looking there for our picks from this Polish side, because conceding 14 goals is the most of any team in the top 2 of any group in qualifying in Europe. So they are defensively the worst side to qualify from Europe in this tournament. The players I want to look at, one I've already mentioned, it's Robert Lewandowski. Of course, he scored 16 goals in World Cup qualifying. However, also in the Bundesliga, 24 appearances, 29 goals, 2 assists, shots per game at 4.2 and an average rating at 7.49. So a great return from Robert Lewandowski for both club and country. And then my other pick is Piotr Zielinski, who in the Calcio A managed to get 14 appearances, 4 goals, 2 assists, shots per game at 1.1 and an average rating of 6.75, but for country he could be more important than he has been for club. We then look on to Colombia, who of course had a great World Cup 2014. However, after that high, they've had a very disappointing time of things, and their qualification for Russia 2018 was lackluster at best. With 7 wins, 6 draws and 5 defeats, goals for at 21 out of 18 games, and goals against at 19 with only 7 clean sheets, they haven't looked as good as they did in that World Cup. That being said, they do still have some quality players who could turn it on in the World Cup, with several of the squad from the quarter-finalists in World Cup 2014 still being in this squad, who also got into the quarter-finals of the Copa America in 2015. Of course, we have to look at James Rodriguez after his World Cup in 2014. This season for Bayern Munich, he's had 19 appearances, 7 goals, 11 assists, shots per game at 1.7 and an average rating at 7.63. But of course, it has to be remembered that he did score 5 goals in the World Cup in 2014, winning the Golden Boot. And then we have Falcao for Colombia as well. He's had a good season this year with 25 appearances, 18 goals, 4 assists, shots per game at 2.7 and an average rating at 7.15. However, an asterisk on this is generally the Colombia manager doesn't like to play him as a lone striker, and usually only plays him when he's got 2 strikers up top, when he's supported by Zapata. So potentially Falcao could be a bit of an outside bet if Colombia do go with 1 up front. We then move on to Japan, who didn't qualify potentially as well as they would have hoped for the World Cup. However, they did win 13 games, drawing 3 and losing 2, with 44 goals scored, 7 conceded and 12 clean sheets. That all of course sounds fantastic, but that was against competition which will be lesser than the competition they are facing in this group. During their qualification, they did change manager due to some poor performances in qualifying, so it's hard to know exactly who is nailed on for Japan. However, Okazaki is not far off from becoming Japan's second greatest goal scorer. I don't think he's very close to the first, who's got something like 80 goals. But Okazaki could be someone to look at. However, I'm not going to go out on a limb and suggest any Japanese players because I don't know enough about any of them and whether they're nailed on under this new management. That is partially because there seems to be a youth movement being put into place under the new management. So potentially there could be some young players coming in and taking places from the likes of Kagawa and Honda. So I'm not really going to go out on a limb with any Japanese players for this video. And then we move to Senegal, who are very, very exciting and could be a great prospect in this World Cup. They have some great talent and a lot of their players play in Europe, so are used to playing some of the teams they'll be coming up against in this tournament. They are back in the World Cup for the second time, and in 2002 they reached the quarterfinals, and the squad looks very, very talented. Sadio Mane and Koulibaly among the best African players in Europe, let alone best Senegalese players. However, there are worries about Sadio Mane's hamstring. This could bring some youngsters to the forefront, however, like Baldo Diao. And those are the two players I am looking at in this side. Sadio Mane, of course, had a good season with Liverpool. 28 appearances, 10 goals, 7 assists, shots per game at 2.4 and an average rating of 7.27. And of course, he will be the star man for Senegal if he does play. And then Keita Balde Diao, of course, had 19 appearances in the Calcio A with 8 goals scored, 5 assists, shots per game at 1.4 and an average rating of 6.85, and they could both have very good tournaments for Senegal. And my estimated group finish, and I personally believe Japan will come bottom of this group. However, after that, I think this is a very, very open group. I'm probably just going to stick my neck out for Colombia in first and Poland in second, purely because I think the players they have more experience in this kind of competition, and they have enough talent to at least match Senegal, and then the experience factor should win it out for them. I personally like a lot of Colombian players, so potentially they could come first. However, I know that they didn't qualify in the kind of style they would have liked. And Poland look very organised, have a lot of players that are experienced as well. With Robert Lewandowski up front, I think they should have enough to see themselves out of this group. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video and this series focusing on every single group in the World Cup. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit a like. If you've missed any of the other videos, also you can check out the playlist on my channel. There should hopefully be a link in the description for that as well. Also, hopefully we're going live tonight, and also check out the FPL Wildcats channel where we should be going live on Tuesday to talk about everything World Cup fantasy football. Check out all the links in the description, hit that like button, that subscribe button and that notification bell. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.